Chapter 6, The Sword of Discernment, Viveka. Until now, our journey has been about refining behavior, learning to observe, to pause, to speak truthfully, to listen deeply. These are the foundations. But from this chapter onward, the path begins to move inward. The ancient sages believed that lasting transformation does not begin by changing what you do. It begins by changing how you see. And few stories illustrate that more beautifully than the story of Nachiketa. The ancient teaching long ago, according to the Katha Upanishad, there lived a thoughtful young boy named Nachiketa. His father, Vajrashrava, was performing a great sacrifice. Tradition required that one's finest possessions be offered in generosity. But as Nachiketa watched, something troubled him. The cows being given away were old, too weak to work, too old to produce milk, near the end of their lives. Outwardly, the ritual appeared generous. Inwardly, its sincerity had begun to fade. The boy could not ignore what he saw. Quietly, he asked his father, "Father, to whom will you give me?" His father said nothing. So Nachiketa asked again, and then again. Finally, overcome with anger, his father exclaimed, "I give you to death." Within the symbolism of the Upanishad, Nachiketa takes those words seriously. He journeys to the abode of Yama, the Lord of Death. But when he arrives, Yama is away, so the boy waits. One day passes, then another, then a third, without food, without water, without complaint. When Yama returns, he is deeply moved. In the ancient world, hospitality was considered sacred. Because his guest had waited for 3 days, Yama offers Nachiketa 3 boons. The first, that peace be restored between the boy and his father. The second, knowledge of a sacred fire ritual. Then comes a third. Nachiketa asks the question that is echoed through the centuries. When a person dies, some say they continue to exist. Others say they do not. Tell me the truth. Yama pauses. Instead of answering, he begins to tempt the boy. He offers wealth, gold, kingdoms, long life, music, beautiful chariots, power beyond imagination. Then he says, "Choose sons and grandsons who shall live 100 years. Choose elephants, horses, gold, vast lands, but do not ask this question." For most people, the choice would have been easy, but Nachiketa remains calm. "All these pleasures last only until tomorrow," he replies. "Keep your chariots, keep your music. I seek only the knowledge that even death cannot destroy." And in that quiet moment, Yama smiles. The examination was never about wealth. It was about discernment. The choice we make. Every day, Yama introduces 2 Sanskrit words that became central to Indian philosophy. The first is prayas, that which is pleasant, comfort, entertainment, immediate gratification, the easy path. The second is shreyas, that which is truly beneficial. Growth, discipline, wisdom, the path whose rewards often arrive slowly. Yama explains that every human being encounters these 2 roads, again and again, every single day. The wise learn to recognize the difference. This does not mean everything pleasant is wrong. A good meal, a joyful celebration, a moment of rest, these all have their place. The danger begins when an entire life becomes devoted only to what feels good now, while neglecting what creates lasting fulfillment. A lesson hidden in ordinary life. Imagine 2 versions of yourself. One wakes in the morning, picks up the phone, and says, "Just 5 minutes." 40 minutes quietly disappear. The other wakes, leaves the phone untouched, and reads 5 thoughtful pages before beginning the day. Neither choice feels dramatic, neither seems life-changing, but repeat those moments, day after day, year after year, and eventually, the difference is no longer measured in minutes. It is measured in character. The sages believe destiny is rarely shaped by extraordinary decisions. More often, it is shaped by ordinary choices, repeated with remarkable consistency. Mental skill. The 2 roads before making an important decision today. Pause. Then ask yourself one gentle question. Am I choosing what is merely pleasant or what is truly beneficial? Do not assume that comfort is always wrong or that difficulty is always right. Discernment lies in learning the difference. That is Viveka. Practical exercise. A month in review. Take a sheet of paper. Draw two columns. On one side, write prayas. List the habits that offer immediate pleasure but little lasting value. Perhaps endless scrolling, procrastination, constantly seeking approval, or avoiding difficult conversations. On the other side, write shreyas. Reading, exercise, keeping promises to yourself, learning, serving others. Then ask yourself, which side have I been feeding most this month? Do not answer with guilt. Answer with honesty, because only what is honestly seen can truly be changed. Reflection. Imagine your future self, 10 years wiser, looking back at the choice you are about to make today. What would they quietly ask you to choose? Remain with that question. Sometimes, the wisest answer arrives only after the noise has faded. Lifetime principle. The pleasant creates passing moments. The beneficial creates an enduring life. Every meaningful future is built through small acts of discernment. Sanskrit of the day Viveka, Vivek. It is often translated as discernment, but its deeper meaning is this: the ability to distinguish, the lasting from the temporary, truth from appearance, wisdom from impulse. It is one of the sharpest tools a human being can cultivate. Chapter 7. The Five Horses. After testing Nachiketa, Yama finally begins to teach, but instead of offering a direct explanation, he offers an image, simple enough for a child to remember, profound enough to occupy philosophers for more than 2,000 years. It is the image of a chariot, the ancient teaching. Imagine your life as a chariot moving along a long and winding road. Each part has its place. Your body is the chariot itself. Your senses are five powerful horses. Your mind is the reins connecting them. Your buddhi, your faculty of discernment, is the charioteer, and the deepest self, the Atman, is the silent passenger for whose sake the journey exists. Now imagine those horses running wild. One rushes toward pleasure, another bolts toward anger, another trembles with fear, another chases greed, another follows pride. The reins grow loose. The charioteer loses attention. The journey becomes confusion. The destination is forgotten. Now imagine something different. The horses remain strong, but they are trained. The reins are steady. The charioteer remains awake. The journey continues with purpose. This, the Upanishad suggests, is the difference between being driven by life and learning to guide it. Understanding the symbol. Although expressed through poetry, the teaching is remarkably psychological. The horses represent the senses. Your eyes constantly seek novelty. Your ears search for stimulation. Your tongue craves comfort. Your body prefers ease. The senses are not enemies. They simply require wise direction. The reins represent the mind. It gathers impressions from every sense. If the mind becomes restless, the horses become restless. If the mind becomes calm, the horses gradually follow. Then comes the charioteer, buddhi, the discerning intellect. This is the quiet inner faculty that asks, should I act on this? It does not eliminate desire. It guides it. And finally, there is the passenger, the Atman, the witnessing self. According to the Upanishads, this deepest self is not the body, not the senses, not even the mind. It is the silent awareness within which all experience unfolds. This insight becomes one of the central contemplations of the Upanishadic tradition. A modern chariot. Imagine your phone vibrates. Instantly, your senses urge, check it. The mind becomes curious, perhaps even restless. Then buddhi quietly asks, is this truly important, or am I about to interrupt something meaningful? If buddhi is asleep, the horses decide. If buddhi is awake, you decide. That small pause changes everything. Mental skill. Strengthen the charioteer. Throughout today, whenever a strong impulse appears, do not obey it immediately. Instead, simply name it. This is anger. This is boredom. This is fear. This is craving. This is impatience. By naming an impulse, you create a small but powerful distance between yourself and the impulse itself. Within that space, discernment awakens. And where discernment awakens, freedom begins. Practical exercise. The Chariot Journal. Carry a notebook or use the Notes app on your phone. Whenever a strong impulse appears, write down 3 things. What triggered it? Which horse was pulling the hardest? And what decision did your charioteer ultimately make? Do not aim for perfection. Aim for awareness. Awareness always comes before mastery. Reflection. Ask yourself gently, which horse has guided my life most often recently? Comfort, fear, anger, desire, pride, whatever your answer. Meet it with honesty rather than judgment, because a horse cannot be trained until it is first recognized. Lifetime principle. Freedom is not the absence of impulses. Freedom is choosing which impulses deserve to become actions. The strongest person is not the one who never feels temptation. It is the one who knows who should be holding the reins. Sanskrit of the day, buddhi, buddhi, often translated simply as intellect. Yet the sages meant something richer. Buddhi is the inner faculty of discernment, the quiet guide that helps the mind choose wisely, even when the senses pull in another direction. End of day 3. Today, the journey became deeper. You learned that every meaningful choice stands between prayas, the pleasant, and shreyas, the truly beneficial. You also received a map of your own inner world, the senses, the mind, the discerning intellect, and the witnessing self. These teachings are among the most enduring insights of the Katha Upanishad. They are not merely ideas to admire, they are practices to observe, again and again, in the smallest moments of everyday life. So before we continue, pause one last time. Ask yourself, who has been holding the reins of my life today? My impulses or my discernment? Your answer to that question may shape every chapter that follows.